by putting your oven on at 200 or a gas mark 6 or 7 depending on your oven, and then we're going to put 200 grams of plain flour into a large mixing bowl along with half a teaspoon of salt and 2 5 spoons of baking powder. The next step is to add our margarine. So it's 50 grams of margarine, and we're going to rub that in so that it looks like breadcrumbs. So rubbing in with your fingertips, it's the coolest part of your hand, and you're going to just move the bowl round, just keep turning it and making sure that you're coating all of the bits of flour. You'll start to see it change colour, so it goes a yellowy colour, and there shouldn't be any traces of the margarine left. Once you think it's ready, if you give the bowl a little bit of a shake, okay, and the lumps will come to the top, okay, so when you've no lumps you can stop. You're then going to add the apple. So we're going to grate the apple. So if you hold it with your thumb and your finger at the core and work your way round the apple. So we've just washed it, we've not peeled it, and all you should be left with is the core of the apple. So we're going to add the apple to the flour mixture in the bowl. I've used an eating apple today because they tend to be a little bit sweeter. So the recipe says a cooking apple, but it also says 50 grams of sugar. So I'm missing out the sugar and we're just using the eating apple. Now it was quite a big apple, so I'm just going to start off by putting in 1 15ml spoon of milk. The recipe says 2, and I may need to add a little bit more, but I don't want it to be too soggy. Okay, so I'm stirring that round. You can see it's starting to absorb the flour, but it needs a little bit more. So I'm just going to put half a tablespoon in. So you have to guide it yourself. Obviously, apples are different sizes. You might need both spoons of milk, and you might just need 1 and a bit, like I have. You're looking for a nice soft dough, but there shouldn't be any crumbs on the bottom, and it should be thick enough that you can then roll it out. So once you've got, you can see in the picture there the firmness of it, and it's the same kind of consistency as a normal scone. So I'm just covering it with flour and kneading it a little bit. We're not kneading this very much, okay? Scone mixture doesn't get kneaded, that's bread. So we're going to roll this out until it is 20 centimetres wide, okay? And a nice round circle shape. So once you've got it the right size, 20 centimetres, it might look a bit thin, but because we're leaving it as a whole shape, you need to be careful that it's not too thick in the middle, that it doesn't get cooked, and then the top will go too brown by the time the middle's cooked. So you just need to make sure that it's about 20 centimetres. Okay, so we're going to cut it into 8 pieces. I'm not cutting right the way through, I'm just marking it so that when it's cooked it will break easily into the 8 scones. The last step before it goes in the oven is you're going to brush it with some milk. You can use egg if you like. And I'm just going to sprinkle a teaspoon, a 5ml spoon of sugar on the top. Remember, there's no sugar in the scone. We're just using the sweetness of the apple. So just to give it a little bit of a sweet taste on the top, we're going to sprinkle some sugar on the top of that, which will also help to give it a nice brown colour. You're going to bake it for 20 minutes until it's well risen and it's a golden brown colour. Just check when you take it out the oven that it's quite firm on the top, especially at the middle. So although it might be brown, then you just want to check that the middle of that's cooked. Transfer it onto a plate and leave it to cool for 10 minutes before you cut it up and eat it.